Welcome back to 3 Up, 3 Downs AL Central Division Breakdown. We have finally reached our final team for the AL Central, the Kansas City Royals, another team that's been rebuilding in this AL Central, a team that looks to be hopefully taking a little bit of a step in the right direction as maybe a challenger for that third place spot, the Kansas City Royals. Let's hop right into the lineup. Obviously, returning former first prospect for this team, Bobby Witt Jr. at third base. Then you've got the always reliable, the always powerful Salvi Perez behind the plate. You've got Hunter Dozier at third, Kyle Isbell, a guy that they've hoped to take complete development steps to be their future center fielder, and more. And then you look at their bench. You've got Nicky Lopez and Franmil Reyes, the big headliners for this bench. The Kansas City starting nine and their bench. What do you got, Alex?
Yeah, so I actually kind of love this lineup. I think there's a lot of potential here. Bobby Witt, if he can take a step, I think that's huge for this team, obviously, not only for the future, but for this year's team. He's shown a dynamic ability at the plate. He's fast. He has incredible pop. I mean, it sounds different off his bat. There's a reason he was the second overall pick, and there's a reason he was a very hyped-up second overall pick. So Bobby Witt leading off is just a difference maker right away. And
without a question.
I think he can go 30-30-30, 30 homers, 30 stolen bases, 30 doubles. I think he has that potential. Even with like 10 triples in there, he's just got it all. So I love Bobby Witt there. MJ Melendez is a great hitter. He's got some pop. He can play catcher. They have him slotted in at DH right now. He can play the outfield too. Yep. Just a very versatile piece. Reminds me a bit of Dalton Varsho, the guy who was just traded to the Blue Jays for a pretty big haul. But I really like MJ Melendez. Salvi, I think he'll still have that power stroke.
Yep.
I think he's going to have another good year. Then you got Vinny Pasquantino, who showed he's got a really good lefty bat. He's kind of the star of Team Italy, World Baseball Classic right now, which is a little bit more an indictment on what Team Italy is. But
yeah. They made it to the next. They made it to the quarters.
Yeah, but Vinny Pasquantino is a very good player. And then I see a lot of guys like this outfield, Nate Eden, Kyle Isbell, Edward Olivares. They're all rangy, and they may not be the best hitters or anything, but I think they're going to be able to hit ground balls and maybe play a little Guardians in them. Slap it around the field, run the bases well, play clean baseball, defend. I like that. Michael Massey, another guy to watch at second base, another very classy hitter. Kind of reminds me of how MJ Melendez hits, lefties with just smooth swings that hit for power too. So I really like this lineup. And then you have Franmil Reyes, who's a difference maker off the bench. I mean, when he's slotted into the bench, we'll probably rotate him DH, maybe a little outfield. We all know how much pop he has. I mean, he's a massive human, and it translates. So I'm excited to see him because he's just always a fun player to watch. Nicky Lopez, too, a good piece to shuffle in there. A guy you're going to realize more during the regular season and the playoffs because he'll get those at-bats. He'll move around the field, can run well.
Big utility guy for this Kansas City
He's a great utility guy. So I'm actually pretty excited about this lineup. I think there's a lot of potential. Maybe not to be one of the best lineups in baseball, but to be a good offense that can be a pain to a lot of teams. So I'm excited about it.
The question marks that surround this team have to be with its rotation and its bullpen. Moving on, their ace, a guy who, another ageless character in this league, strictly a character, that's for sure. Zach Greinke leads the rotation, followed by Jordan Lyles, Brady Singer, a guy that U.S. fans watched get torched for runs by Team Mexico, Ryan Yarborough, and Brad Keller. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's the worst rotation in the division by any means, but I don't think it's a strong one. That I will say. What do you got on this rotation?
Yeah, so it'll be – I'm actually interested to see who's the opening day starter. I think there's a chance it's Greinke, but I think Brady Singer deserves it. Brady Singer's a guy who I think could make a leap to an all-star level year this year.
Yep.
Kind of maybe a little bit before anticipated. I'm sure some other people are saying it too. He had a very good season last year. Obviously is on Team USA. But I'm very excited about what Brady Singer has on the top of his game. He looks like an elite number one starter. He just looks really good. A lot of question marks around that, though. Like Jordan Lyles, average pitcher. Greinke, average pitcher.
Keller, average.
Keller, average pitcher. And guys who can get lit up but are probably going to stay around the fours, which I think will make it tough for this team to contend. But I think the offense may be able to help them out, And I think this rotation – it isn't going to get hyped because it's not good, but it's not bad. And that's what I kind of like about it. Obviously, they're hoping to improve on this in the future. But for where they are, I kind of like what they've done. They haven't shelled out money for it yet. And you just hope some more guys break through. Brady Singer takes that next step. I kind of like it. More so, I really like Brady Singer, and I don't hate the rotation.
Fair enough. After adding Aroldis Chapman in the offseason and Amir Garrett via trade last season, this bullpen, it's okay. Scott Barlow had some impressive stints at some times, and then also Josh Stalmont. Can't forget the long hair in Stalmont.
Yep.
But not a ton of power. You're hoping for a bounce back year from Aroldis Chapman after all the nonsense and BS that kind of occurred in New York. But we'll see what happens. What do you got on this bullpen?
Again, I really like this bullpen, and I like this a lot more than the rotation. I think Barlow is a very good pitcher. I think he'll probably be the closer. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a little committee, but I think he'll probably be the closer. Josh Stalmont, I think, could have a good year. I think he's kind of a guy when we talk about variance in bullpens, he could be due for positive variance.
Absolutely.
I think he could have a very good year this year.
I agree.
Dylan Coleman, a good pitcher. Amir Garrett's kind of fun. The fact that seemingly what people might say the Royals Tigers is not a fun matchup has become one because we get Amir Garrett versus Javi Baez a lot this year. So for both those teams, that's something to watch. It'll just be entertaining. We'll probably have a couple of brawls this year. I just expect that. Who knows what we're getting out of Aroldis Chapman? I'm not even sure he's going to make the team. I expect him to, but I don't think that's a lock. If they get something out of him, I like this bullpen even more. I kind of like the pieces they have here. I think it's a pretty solid bullpen with pretty good stuff, and if things fall right for them, I think it could be one of the better bullpens in baseball. Maybe not top 10, but in that 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, you can see it's quietly building itself in Kansas City. If you had to pick an X factor for this Kansas City roster, who is that going to be?
Yeah, so there's a lot to pick from here. Again, I think with young players on teams, there's always a lot to pick from, but I'm going to go with Michael Massey. Slide into the 8-hole right now. I would not be surprised if he climbs his way up the lineup. I think he's a really good hitter. He had stints last year where he looked really good, and it was just a brief stint, but I think he's expected to take over that starting role from Nicky Lopez, who was not bad. I wouldn't say he was a weakness on this team. So the fact that I think they're going to roll out with Michael Massey there means something. It means they see a lot in him. I like that he starts lower in the lineup, work his way up, don't put too much pressure right away. I think he's going to have a big year, like something around like 280, 20 homers, 30 doubles, something like that.
Yeah, no, I see it. I understand it. And I recognize it. I'm going to pick Brady Singer. He's going to be my pick. I think you need to see him start to turn himself into that team's ace if he can. And if he is able to, then you've got something you can really build upon for that rotation. Predictions, you kind of hinted at where you thought this team may finish. I've got them finishing fourth. It may be a battle for third, but what do you think?
Yeah, so I actually have them finishing third ahead of the Twins.
Wow.
And the Tigers. It's dependent on a lot of development, but I just really like a lot of the pieces here, and I have confidence in a lot of these young pieces, how they play. You can see them taking that next step. It's not like, oh, this is some process. It's not like Jared Kelenic, who has all the talent, right? But you have such big question marks. I expect MJ Melendez to make a jump. I expect Michael Massey to make a jump. Pasquantino, I expect to. All these guys, I have pretty high expectations for them to be better at least. Maybe not set the world on fire, but maybe they still have that upside. But yeah, I have them finishing third in the division. No wild card. I don't think they're there yet, but I think they're gonna finish ahead of the Twins.
Minnesota fans are gonna be knocking on your door. We'll see. That concludes our Kansas City division, AL Central division breakdown. If we've missed anything, feel free to hop in the comments. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Check out this on YouTube and also on all audio listening platforms. We appreciate you tuning in for the AL Central division breakdown, brought to you by 3 Up 3 Down and Star 6 Media.